Here, according to Reuters, as I see on Twitter now, Starbucks says August U.S. comp sales growth for the company-operated stores was -11 during the month of August here in the United States. August comp sales growth in China for company-operated stores was 0. The stock was about 1.2% or so before I noticed that. Stock's getting a little bit of a lift on this news. Maybe the fact, Pete, and I don't know, we're looking right now to see what July comps were, both in China and the U.S. for Starbucks. You just sold your Starbucks calls. You closed out that position. Yeah. But I'm wondering what you make of this news. China is obviously a significant part of the growth story for Starbucks. Mm-hmm. So if that is at the worst stabilizing and at best improving even incrementally, maybe that's a positive for the stock, and that's why it's reacting, albeit slightly.
Yeah, and I think the expectation was we're going to see better numbers, some stabilizing numbers, as you put it, for China. So I think that's something that is built in. Here's the story for me right now, Scott. When I look at this name, I love the name. I think they do most everything right. But I also think the reality is the stock gets really heavy when it starts getting up towards 90. So I think it's a great buy on every dip that we've had and an opportunity towards 80. I think that's great. But when we get towards 90, it has a very difficult time. So I just look at this one very much like I've looked at Walmart in the past in terms of at the PE levels. There are times I think that are a great opportunity that give us that opportunity to buy. And I think there's other times that I need to exit. And I think in this case, as it approaches 90, I just decided I need to be out.
Josh, you mentioned this in part of your notes. We talked about it at the very top of the hour. And I'm trying to get more context for everybody on what exactly these numbers mean, specifically relative to what they were in July, so you have a better idea of where the story is moving as we move forward. But what do you think of Starbucks here?
I love it. I think Pete has it. I think Pete has it upside down. The stock has been up to the 90 to 95 level twice. Last summer of 2019, and then in January. And when it breaks above this time, which I think it will, there'll be no resistance and no one left to sell. There will be no shareholders in Starbucks who have a loss. And that, to me, just looks like miles of green field. So I don't suggest that breaking through the $92 resistance level will go quickly or will be easy, or maybe it will. They report in October. But at the end of the day, Starbucks is going to do something transformative for the company globally. The urban centers that they've really lost as a result of the pandemic, those stores, many of them will be converted to walk-up windows, which will be Starbucks to operate and capable of doing higher volumes of sales. They're attacking every single day part. There's not a time of day that Starbucks isn't a relevant option for consumers. And I really don't think you're going to want to be out of this stock when it takes out those resistance levels and clears out the remaining sellers. I think it's a triple-digit stock. I bought it in the 60s. I bought more in the 80s.